Rod Ovid here with another Take 5. We bring these to you every Monday through Saturday on our Facebook channel here for Rod Ovid and for Logos Institute of Biblical Studies. We really enjoy bringing them to you, just a few minutes together each day that we can go over the Word and encourage one another and sort of focus in the right direction. And the one we have planned today will help us as well. It's a direction that Paul gives to Timothy, a very interesting one. Seems a little obscure, but it really does make sense. And it's found in 1 Timothy. I always get a little somber when I come to 1 and 2 Timothy because I know they're the last books that Paul writes. In fact, you can really sense in 2 Timothy the urgency. He knows he's going to leave soon. You can almost feel the anxiousness or the angst and the desperation that Timothy be prepared and ready to take the gospel forward and to pastor the church there in this monster city called Ephesus. And in the first book, when he's casually writing about a number of things, he's giving instructions to Timothy, he puts this verse in there that to many just sounds a little odd. And perhaps you remember it in the King James. It goes, "For bodily exercise profiteth little, but godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of the life that is now and of that which is to come." Now that makes it sound a little negative. The NIV looks at the language a little clearer. It's not as negative as like, hey, don't do any physical exercise. He's saying, look, physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. Now why is he writing this to Timothy? Well, because Timothy was a young man at the time, and he lived in one of the hottest spots in the world, Ephesus. They had all kinds of things going. You talk about an urban society. And we know that the Romans loved their baths and gymnasiums. They had them everywhere. By the end of the 3rd century, there was 170 public baths in Rome alone. Now, Ephesus was about the 4th largest city in the world at that time. Rome, of course, being the largest, and then Alexandria was second, along with Antioch, and then there was Ephesus. When you read the verse, it says, "For bodily exercise profits little, for physical training is of some value." The interesting Greek word there is he uses somatikos. Somatikos is from the word soma, which means body, and then he uses a word that's interesting, gymnasia. Gymnasia. And when you look at the spelling, the transliteration of gymnasia, it's spelled Gymnasia, and we would say that is gymnasia. It's where we get the word gymnasium. So he's saying, look, this bodily exercise, this gymnasium, has some profit to it. Because, Timothy, I know you're a young man living in this urban life, and chances are he went to the gymnasium. Chances are, he would pump the iron and sit there, "Oh, you're looking good, Timothy," and, maybe hang around with some of his buddies. And, exercise was important. Looking good was important. Getting the baths were important. And Paul just wants him to slow down a little bit and said, look, Timothy, okay, as important as some of that might seem to you at the time, there's something much more important, and that's your godliness. It's really profitable. He uses the word eusebia, and eusebia literally means well-directed reverence. It doesn't imply an inward, inherent holiness. It's actually externalized piety. It means you're putting some effort out. He's saying when you work at your belief, when you work at your Christianity, when you pay attention to it, when you adhere to what it is you know to do, when you do the right thing, when you live out your salvation, that is truly profitable because it helps you now and it has eternal value as well. So I wonder what kind of gymnasiums we have in our lives. They're not bad in and of themselves. We're not saying that. Now, if he were to go to the part of the gymnasia that had nude bathing of both sexes, that would not be cool. But there's no indication that that was all that popular at that time. And there's no indication that you had to go that route. You could enjoy baths just among men and go to the gym and work out and leave. In fact, we know from some archaeology now that they were actually going after synagogue rulers and early Christian leaders to get them to join these clubs. And I'm sure they cleaned it up in order to lure those people. So I don't think Paul is talking and addressing a sinful lifestyle here, or he would have just come out and said it. He would have said, stop going to the baths. But instead he says, look, don't get carried away with the physical activity. Let's make sure you sharpen yourselves with what's important. And I think that's true with us as well. What are those gymnasiums in our life? What are those things that we put such an emphasis on that we have to do it all the time, or we've got to get there, we're so desperate, we have to have it? Would we do well to slow down and say, you know, I'm not going to go there today. I just want to really pick up my Bible that maybe I haven't done in a while. I'd really like to read something and have God talk to me. Maybe there's someone I need to spend time with instead of running off to this store or to that place. Maybe I need to just get alone and pray. These are the kind of things that have value for us now and eternity. These are the kind of things that help us focus in the right direction. So think about these things when you're out there getting your physical activity. Say, thank you, Lord, that I'm physically fit. Thank you that I can do some of these things. But you know what? I want to get myself in spiritual shape as well. I want to make sure that I'm exercising my spirituality, that I'm making the right decisions, that I'm staying up in the Word and prayer. You do that. You make that your priority. And you know what? We will certainly have a blessed day.